She was once the golden girl of Hollywood's new generation, praised for her talent, loved for her looks, and crowned as the next big thing. But lately, Sydney Sweeney's spotlight has started to flicker. From controversial brand deals and political backlash to lawsuits over bikini ads and heated debates about feminism in the industry, it's like her career is stuck in a storm she didn't see coming. What went wrong for the star who seemed to have it all? Why is she suddenly at the center of so much noise? The answers reveal a much more complicated story than the headlines ever show. Genes are passed down from parents to offspring, often determining traits like hair color, personality, and even eye color. My genes are blue. And just like that, Sydney Sweeney had the internet laughing. It was a moment that felt relatable, unpolished, and hilariously human. But behind the viral meme, Sydney Sweeney has become a surprisingly polarizing figure in Hollywood. How did this sweet, small-town girl from Spokane, Washington, go from starring in a viral ad campaign for American Eagle to being accused of setting back feminism, facing a swimsuit brand lawsuit, and triggering fierce political debate? It's a journey that's as complicated as it is fascinating. Sydney Sweeney burst onto the scene with roles in shows like Everything Sucks and The Handmaid's Tale, but it was her performance as Cassie Howard in HBO's Euphoria that made her a household name. Cassie was vulnerable, emotionally unstable, and constantly seeking male validation, a character that resonated with audiences for her rawness and complexity. But Sydney's portrayal of Cassie opened the door to a much larger debate. Was she empowering young women by showcasing emotional depth and sexuality? Or was she reinforcing harmful stereotypes about women needing male approval to feel worthy? The controversy didn't stop at fictional roles. Sydney's personal brand leaned heavily into old-school Hollywood glamour. Think Marilyn Monroe-style photo shoots, corsets, and a bold embrace of femininity. This was refreshing to many who felt feminism had become overly sanitized and sterile. Yet, others saw her aesthetic as dangerously regressive. She was praised for reviving femininity, but also accused of packaging it in a way that catered to the male gaze. Then came the political firestorm. Sydney threw a birthday party for her mother, which featured family members wearing Blue Lives Matter apparel and Make America Great Again style hats. The backlash was immediate and intense. Many fans saw the imagery as supportive of far-right ideologies and accused Sydney of being out of touch. She defended herself by saying she wasn't responsible for her family's political views and that the party was simply a celebration of love. But in a hyper-polarized world, that explanation didn't satisfy everyone. Some argued that holding someone accountable for their family's beliefs was unfair, especially when Sydney herself hadn't made any overt political statements. Others insisted that celebrities, by virtue of their influence, have a responsibility to denounce harmful ideologies, even within their own families. It became a classic example of cancel culture clashing with the messy realities of family loyalty and differing political beliefs. Meanwhile, Sydney's swimsuit line collaboration with the brand Frankie's Bikinis stirred up even more debate. The campaign featured extremely revealing designs and leaned heavily into the innocent but sexy trope, complete with white lacy two pieces and soft, dreamy lighting. Critics claimed the marketing played into Lolita-esque fantasies and hypersexualized youth. Supporters, on the other hand, argued that Sydney was reclaiming her sexuality and challenging outdated notions of what women can and cannot wear. But things took a legal turn when a lesser-known swimwear company accused Sydney and her team of breaching a previous contract and using confidential designs to create her new line. The lawsuit painted a more sinister picture, one in which Sydney wasn't just a face for a brand, but allegedly complicit in behind-the-scenes business practices that crossed ethical lines. The legal battle added another layer to her already controversial public image and sparked questions about how much power and involvement celebrities really have in the brands they endorse. As all this unfolded, Sydney's interviews began to receive more scrutiny. In one, she lamented that she couldn't afford to take a 6-month break from acting because she didn't earn enough. This statement drew mockery and skepticism, especially since Sydney had recently purchased a multi-million-dollar home in Los Angeles. Critics accused her of being out of touch with reality, while others empathized with her frustration about the instability of the entertainment industry. It brought to light an uncomfortable truth about modern fame. Visibility doesn't always equal financial security, especially for women who often earn less and have shorter career spans in Hollywood. All of this begs the question, who gets to define what modern feminism looks like? Is it about political correctness and avoiding controversy at all costs, or is it about embracing the messiness of real life and real choices? Sydney Sweeney is not the first celebrity to find herself at this crossroads. But her case is unique because of how quickly she went from rising star to cultural lightning rod. Her journey reflects the contradictions and complexities of our current cultural moment, where personal style choices can be read as political statements and family parties can become national scandals. What's perhaps most fascinating is that Sydney never set out to be a symbol of anything. She's spoken candidly about wanting to be taken seriously as an actress, about the pressures of fame, and about navigating a world that constantly projects expectations onto her. And maybe that's exactly why she's become such a talking point. In a world obsessed with labels and sides, Sydney Sweeney refuses to be boxed in. She can be soft and strong, feminine and fierce, traditional and progressive, all at once. And while that might frustrate those who crave clear-cut answers, it's a more honest reflection of what it means to be human. As Sydney continues to build her career, one thing is clear: she isn't going away anytime soon. Whether you see her as a symbol of empowerment or a sign of cultural regression, there's no denying that she's become one of the most compelling figures in pop culture today. And in an age where fame is often fleeting and influence is constantly scrutinized, that alone is something worth paying attention to. Sydney Sweeney's story makes me think about how fast things can change in Hollywood. One moment, you're everyone's favorite; the next, you're being torn apart for things that barely made headlines a year ago. Watching her rise and now seeing her face these controversies, it doesn't feel like just another celebrity gossip cycle. It feels like a deeper reflection of what this industry does to people. There's always a line you're not supposed to cross, but the scary part is, that line keeps moving. It's not always clear whether Sydney made mistakes, or if she just became too successful, too fast, for people to stay supportive. Maybe it's both, maybe it's neither. But I can't shake the feeling that her story is far from over. There's still a storm she's walking through, and the world is watching her every step, waiting to see if she'll fall or rise again. Whether you support her or question her choices, one thing's for sure: Sydney Sweeney isn't just a name in the credits anymore. She's a mirror of the chaos that comes with fame, power, and public judgment. And somehow, I think the most shocking chapter of her journey hasn't even been written yet.